clicking. Hey, everybody, welcome to Habanos Saturday. I thought I was in another show. Welcome to Habanos Saturday. It's March 14th, 2026, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Habanos Saturday, the fastest growing cigar show on YouTube with over 100,000 subscribers. Come join us every Saturday live.
All right, we are live. Hey, welcome to the show.
How are you doing?
Oh, man, if I was any better, there'd be two of me.
There may be two of you right
There
now.
may be two of me. Hey, you know what's really funny? I have to tell you this. Last week, we did a little short that said to everybody, you know, no matter what you smoke, we never make fun of you, blah, blah, blah. One of the guys in my office, I don't really mean it. One of the guys in my office said to me, you make fun of me all the time. So I don't want to mention any names, Chip, but you smoke crap. And that's all I can say. So, and I talked to the Brotherhood and Sisterhood of the Leaf, and we've decided.
I thought you were going to say the Aryan Brotherhood.
Yeah, no. I'm Jewish. Can't do that. So we talked to them about Chip joining. I told them what they smoke, and then they were like, nah, everybody but him.
What's interesting is I heard a word that you've dropped in about crap cigars. I think you said something about crap cigars, right?
I did.
You never used to talk about it that way, right? But little by little, I like the fact that you're understanding that some cigars are genuinely crap. And when I say crap, I mean crap to the extent that they're unsmokable. I don't quite get who is smoking these cigars other than, I don't know, long distance truck drivers who just chew tobacco, raw tobacco, and that's what they want.
Or the guy in my office. He's one smoking them. There you go.
Clearly, and I've been thinking about this more and more recently. Yeah.
Yes.
Clearly, the cigar smoking community, the hobby, has become so diverse.
Yes.
That you find little niches and tranches of people doing their own thing. It's a very vibrant pastime now.
Yep.
Like you get all sorts. You get absolutely all sorts in all communities. Like, you know, sometimes you see these Instagram memes of people who are obsessed with Star Wars and they dress up in Star Wars gear and they go like Comic-Con kind of thing. Yeah. But then there's a niche within that as well. People who take the lasers very seriously. Yes. And then there's a niche within that too. There's a niche within niche within niche. And cigar smoking is becoming like that. There are people who enjoy. So it doesn't matter what. So this, I've always known this. Yeah, there is a cigar out there that I think is totally shit. I can't understand it, and someone loves it.
That is true. That is true. Well, we'll see. And the good thing is today, Cigar Rabbi is supposed to join us. We're going to talk about what it really takes, the do's and don'ts of having a premium cigar collection. Now, for the fans that don't know, because of the time change here in the U.S., I made a little faux pas this morning and thought the show was 2.5 hours ago. And so I got ready. Cigar Rabbi was ready. And then everyone reminded me that the show is now. So hopefully Cigar Rabbi didn't fall asleep.
Yeah. 9 o'clock in the morning here.
I literally woke up at 3 a.m. and like, I got to do a show. I got to get going. I got things.
You woke up and go do the show. Go do it now.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I realized I'm a little early. So there you go. So Cigar Rabbi should be joining us. David Blanco reached out to me this morning at 2 a.m. and said, I want to be on the show. I said, come on this show. He goes, well, I can't be on the show.
Anyone could be on the show.
I know. And so he's going to come on next week. He said, I guess he's going to come on if he doesn't have drinks with Giuliani again and get sick.
For those who are actually watching this dialogue between you and me, right? Yeah. Do you want to tell them why we came up with this title? Or why are we talking about this? The do's and don'ts of starting a premium cigar collection. Well, the reason why I perhaps had this suggestion for you is that lately I've been interacting and will be interacting more with interacting is short form for having a smoke with you. Having a smoke with some people I have some real respect and regard for, and I don't have respect and regard for many people. I'm a little bit out there, you know what I mean?
Oh, out there is the word.
But these are people who clearly come from a different time. They're time travelers. They've been storing these cigars in time capsules, right? Their humidor is not a humidor, is physically a time capsule. You can go back to 1962, you can go back to 1951, you know, that kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Which is what I think cigar collecting is about. It's not really about the cigars, it's about collecting memories. But I'm interacting with these people more, and then as a result, I'm having these very offbeat, secretive, and the reason I say secretive is because there's many industry insiders that luckily I bump into in the sort of London environment and wider European environment, right?
Sure.
Who tell me stuff about personalities and people and cigars and cigar collecting, anything to do with this industry, that they would rather that it didn't come from their lips. Yeah.
Right,
So so I'm becoming a bit of a vestibule, a receptacle,
Ooh, you're a vestibule.
for trade secrets. Yeah. And I kind of enjoy this because I get off on this, right? Yeah.
I know. Well, you get off on something.
So one of these people, and maybe I'm going on a little bit, right? Yeah. One of these people is a premium cigar, and let's talk about Cuban cigars because there's apart from the Davidoffs, those aren't the only premium cigars.
Right, here we go. There we go. So,
well, we've done that, but anyway, so these people or this guy knows his fakes from his real cigars, right?
Okay.
Now this is we're coming on to topic because you and I have been having this discussion for the past week or so, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now there may be some people out there who, including myself, right, who think, hey, the UK market is very snobbish, it's very up itself, etc., 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 right? They can go do a running jump, okay? The fact is this, is one of the good things about sitting in the UK, one of the good things, is the selection and criteria of vetting out real Cuban cigars from the trap is very, very high. Because we're one of the most expensive markets, so the threshold has to be very, very high, right? Yeah. And because I'm interacting with people such as this, we'll call him Joe. I've been interacting with Joe quite a lot recently.
Wait, you really know a guy named Joe? That's amazing.
Well, it's let's not call him Joe. Let's pick a character from one of my favorite ancient poems, the Divine Comedy, Dante Alighieri. Let's call him Dante.
Seriously? We're going to call this guy Dante?
Well, I said Joe. You had an objection with Joe.
I think I have the perfect name. Elmer Fudd. Let's call him Elmer.
Elmer is okay. We can
Elmer. Compromise.
So Elmer tells me that he is constantly, professionally and non-professionally vetting cigars, checking cigars, etc., etc., etc. And Elmer is in the top 3 people in the world for this specific, very professional activity. It can change the fortunes of collectors. Their collections can be worth more money. They can be worth less money. They can get some ideas to the pedigree and provenance of their cigars. I mean, I'm getting a little bit complicated right now, but at the end of the day, these people are good at wheedling out the rats, okay? If we want to go into that kind of way,
Sure.
And it occurred to me that especially, I mean, I don't meet that many collectors. The ones I meet, I'm a people-based person. If I like someone, I like someone. If I don't like someone, I'm going to do a fucking random jump. But the market info is that the largest amount of Cuban fakes exist in places such as that which you live in, primarily.
Monaco? They listed Monaco. All right, everybody.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Monaco, there you go. So hence the reason for this topic. And from time to time we have people on, like we might have Joshua Cohen on, right?
Cigar Rabbi. He said, I just got a message from him. God forbid the Cigar Rabbi would rush through breakfast to come on the show, even though he was ready 2 hours ago.
He's probably lox and bagels.
Bagel and lox with a schmear, and you put a little cape. Oh, it's a beauty. I mean, what's not to like?
As a slightly tangentially to this, right? I had a bit of a cigar experience yesterday, which I forgot existed, but it was done out of force because basically I exist on my own. I smoked a cigar, a normal cigar.
Congratulations.
Walking through London late evening and listening to my earpods, right? Okay. And let me tell you, that was fucking therapeutic. I'll be very honest with you. It takes you off all sorts of places.
Yeah.
I generally sit in one place to smoke a cigar. I don't even like smoking a cigar when I'm driving, to be honest with you.
Really? That's the best time.
I used to, but the thing is, I couldn't really quite square the enjoyment of driving with the pairing with the cigar. Right?
Oh, I'm sorry. You meant when you physically drive. I mean, because when I have my manservant do it, I just sit in the back. I didn't realize that we were driving ourselves. I'm sorry. You forgive me.
Yeah, there's a strike going on. The servants left a week
The
ago.
servants left. I didn't know. Okay,
Servants. It's not just the driver; it's the butler and the fucking man.
I hate when that happens. Yeah.
Manservant as well.
There you go.
The au pair too, and the
Yeah.
gardener,
Ah,
and the estate manager,
that's the worst because you don't know how to make it. Who can pay things?
and the private banker.
Well, that's the worst.
There's a whole level. There's a whole tier system of support staff, isn't there?
Yes.
Depending on how much you want to project.
I know, and there's only 1% of the listening audience that's going.
Me, I haven't got anyone to make breakfast and bring it up to me in the morning, so I'm,
Well, last week, if I remember, our discussion was you were going to have scotch and cigars in bed in the morning.
I can't. I'm still on. So I'm still in
the fasting.
I'm still in the critical phase of Ramadan, and as big a hypocrite as I am, and I am a hypocrite, right? Yeah, I don't people. I actually fast. I fast the whole thing all the way through. Make no excuses, even if I'm ill. I was ill last week, as you know this, right? Yeah. But look, each to their own. Yeah, it doesn't make me a better person or less person. I'm just saying that is one of my obstacles. Not obstacles. One of those things I have to negotiate around. So yesterday evening, when I finally lit up, it was about 7:30 in the evening. So I had dinner, went into town. I lit up, and then I found myself walking from like Knightsbridge all the way. I walked a fair fucking distance. Oops, sorry, French.
Yeah,
I walked a fair distance yesterday evening. I walked from Knightsbridge all the way up to Hampstead. Now, that was a walk.
That's a walk.
That was a walk and a half. But I enjoyed myself, and I was smoking, and the cigar kind of fizzled out halfway through around Regent's Park, roughly where Mandelson lives. I walked past there just to see if the people were camping out. You know, Mandelson, the disgraced former British ambassador to the USA.
Yeah.
So I walked past his digs, his like £5 million house or whatever it is. But it's one of those things. And what happens so one of the things I was doing yesterday was very different. I used my cigar as a decompression tool. So when I'm sitting at home smoking a cigar, I'm normally watching TV and my mind is on TV. If I'm smoking with people, I'm smoking with them. Yeah, my mind is on the cigar as well. But yesterday, my mind was firmly on the cigar. What am I getting? How am I getting it? Is the cold London air? It was very, very nice. I highly recommend it to those who don't do it. If you can go to London and you can walk around all the places she said, take a stroll in the evening, smoke a cigar. Well, I do that. I like that. Bounce your thoughts off the buildings, that kind of thing. Not necessarily a melancholy way. I just meant, it's a very, very thought-provoking process. When I take the dog out. Who took the dogs out? Sorry. When I take the dog out, I light up a little Robusto. And I walk for about 40 minutes with her while we smoke. She smokes and I smoke. We figure it's nice. Passive smoking, yeah. That's I got to start them young. And we enjoy our little walk. And she likes it. And she sees this, when she sees the cigar come out of the humidor, she's like, "Ooh, this is the long walk." And she's ready to go. She pours the scotch ahead of time for me. So, this works out well. It's hard because she has no thumbs. Well, on that note, what are you? You're not smoking, right? I mean, I'm not smoking. I can't smoke because here on the yacht we've discovered in Monte Carlo, once again, that jet fuel, they keep whining about it, and I'm like, pussies. So one day we will, but right now, no. What did you smoke yesterday? What are you smoking tonight? Tonight I'm going to be smoking a punch, and I'm not sure which one. I was told, and I'm also going to, of course, smoke one of my favorites, the Juan Lopez. And yesterday, I know you won't be happy about this, but I smoked a non-Cuban, but it was transcendental or whatever you say. It was a Davidoff. And it was a beautiful. Oh, really? Yes, I like my Davidoff. My humidor is like, if it doesn't have Cubans, or if it doesn't have, which I know you think is ridiculous, the Diamond Crown Tampa one, or the ones that Ruben said, I have Davidoffs. I'm speaking out of ignorance. I've never smoked this Diamond Crown, whatever. When I come to London, I'm gonna bring you one so you can poo-poo it live. They'll confiscate it at the airport. They're not. They don't allow non-Cubans. Hard drugs are not allowed. I love it. That's good to know. And in thinking about, so there's a few things that have been going through my brain lately because of events that have been taking place in London and events that haven't been taking place, and a little bit contemplating the cigar smoking experience. Forget the cigar world, forget the cigar industry. My cigar smoking experience. I'm being very introverted and thinking about it, right? Yeah. I'm coming to the conclusion that the because of this thing I was saying to you, it's become very vibrant. The cigar smoking hobbies, like everyone's doing it. There's niches within niches within niches. Yeah, I think that the cigar industry generally has worked out that the best test bed for this is the lady smoker, the female smokers,
Interesting.
so-called self-proclaimed aficionados,
Well, and we had
because and the reason why, because they always buy cheap cigars because they're priced they're entering, well, I don't mean that in a bad way, I don't mean in a good way, right? When someone's entering the market, they start light and they work themselves up. That is a very, very fertile ground, if you pardon the pun. It's a very fertile ground for testing out your cigars. And yeah, I think they need to start making more New World cigars for the ladies, because that's what that market fits.
Well, here's the thing. I know a couple of ladies that do smoke. I think they're ladies. They're from Thailand. They could be lady boys. I don't judge. But I know that they all like, oh, I smoke a vanilla this or a car. I'm like, that's not a cigar. That's a piece of paper with flavor. So, and then I know one lady that actually smokes a cigar. Like she'll go and get like a real Robusto or like even a Churchill late evening, early afternoon, mid morning, whatever it is from Davidoff, and she'll smoke. And I'm like, that's impressive. So yeah, but a lot of them smoke. To your point, we had Miss Amy on, and you know, it's nice that you're cute and you do, but I think she needs. And I say this with all due respect because I always have to educate myself in the cigar industry. I think Amy needs just a little more education about cigars, because we asked her some basic questions about the cigar she was smoking, like what's the wrapper and what's this and she didn't know.
I think well, you could be right. I think we're all in that kind of educative process, right? Just when you think you're on top of it, there's a whole new science to it, right? In fact, I was discussing with a couple of friends yesterday evening about the anatomy of a cigar, the physical anatomy of a cigar. And I don't just mean at the basic level of ligero and binder and filler and wrapper and all that kind of stuff, the sort of like the leaves that go in. I don't just mean that, but I was talking about combustion and the rates of combustion of a cigar, and what part of the cigar is burning faster, what part of the cigar is burning colder, where are you getting the aromas from, which leaf are you getting the aromas from, etc., etc., etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So it sounds very nerdy, it sounds very technical, but when you are sitting down with two friends and trying to work out, look, I'm getting this, we're all smoking the same cigar, for example, right? Yeah. Where is the aroma coming from? Is the aroma coming from the burning, the combustion? Is it coming from a specific leaf? Is it psychosomatic? Because I had a coffee with this, do I think it tastes like coffee? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, those kind of questions. And in exploring that, you realize how nerdy you're actually getting, how much, how really deep down you're getting into a product. But that is still an educational process, because something else will come along and it will warp. So the Behike cigar,
right,
which is part of the Cohiba brand, right? My understanding always was,
yes,
I'm sure someone at some stage is going to comment on this. This is mildly controversial. Hey, there's Urs there doing the V sign on the cigar.
We already said a good morning. Yeah.
So my understanding was that the Behike line of Cohiba had what is called a mediotiempo leaf in it, which is a leaf that only sprouts 3% of the time when the moon is shining in the right direction and the wind is blowing in the right direction off the coast of Cuba, right? Okay. Yeah. I'm making it up. That's a fantasy, right? Okay, but it's a leaf that doesn't normally sprout. It sprouts on the tobacco plant. It sprouts very rarely. Therefore, it's very sought after. Okay. And that's what a Behike cigar has in the middle of it. But then I've been told by people who know much better than me, not necessarily every Behike has the mediotempo in it, right?
Interesting.
So I'm just saying it's an educative process. Yeah. It could be right, could be wrong, but you're constantly searching for that extra flavor, that extra construction, that extra aroma, that extra thing, which you only get from Cuban and Davidoffs, right? And no, I say that as a matter of fact. Yeah, I say that as a matter of fact. Right? And I'm not trying to be unkind. There's a market for everyone. There's a market for everything.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. There's a market for people who want to drive a car like a Toyota. There's a market for people who want to drive a Ferrari, and there's a whole range in the middle. And that's what's interesting about cigar the cigar world. It's not one-dimensional. It's not two-dimensional. It's become very three-dimensional in real time.
No, it's very true. And so your smoking goes more to the physics of it, almost like we're going to dissect it, like we're reverse engineering it. When we smoke, it's more of the enjoyment of, and we don't contemplate where the burn is coming from or this or that. So I think it's just.
I think it's too much time. I think some people, including myself, right? If you spend enough time smoking, right? Okay.
Right.
You're going to go through phases where you get more and more into the product, and then you get more and more out of the product, because there's a point at which, your peaks and troughs of like, I really want to know more, and now I just want to enjoy. I go through phases of I couldn't care less, I just want to enjoy my cigar, okay? And then I go through phases of where is that smell coming from? Where is that aroma coming from? Where is the construct? Really, and this is to do with experience. I think it's to do with experience, right? Yeah, someone who's just started smoking, shitty. Okay, let me be kind.
She's saying shitty non-Cuban cigars.
You said that. I didn't say that. You said it.
That's where you were going.
Someone who's just
it's not Davidoff, because Davidoff is transcendental. It brings you to a spiritual place. It's almost organic.
It's got a story. I mean, at the end of the day, however you want to slice or dice it, right? Davidoff has a story, right? And if you know the story, you know the story about, let's say you've never smoked a cigar before, you've walked past the Davidoff store, it says Davidoff, right? Yeah. Just, you don't know anything about that Davidoff cigar, but you know that logo with the sort of slight, it's not cursive, but it's an italic, it's an italic handwritten style font, but it's not cursive. The letters don't blend into each other. But you can see it's a mark of quality.
Sure.
It's something of classical quality, okay? Right. And then you walk into a Davidoff store and it's very dark and cedary, and you go, oh, Davidoff cigars. And
there's poles, and there's a girl on a stage.
But I'm talking about traditional Davidoff stores.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Such as one found in London on the corner of St. James's and Jermyn Street.
Gotcha. I can't go to that one.
Right. So when you walk in there, you're already imbued with an aura that you haven't ever experienced yet. But there's an aura of classical cigar smoking. You walk in, right? Yeah. So, but if you don't know anything about Davidoff cigars, right? How would you know what a Davidoff is about, right? Okay. So in this particular case, the reason why I wax lyrical about Davidoff cigars is I know a little bit of the history of Davidoff cigars. Right. A little bit is a relative term, yeah. I know a little bit of the history. I know a little bit about the brand. I know about the roots of the brand and that it started in Cuba and moved to the Dominican Republic. But they kept. When I say they, I'm talking about the Rothschilds here. Right. They kept
my people,
your people, the owners of the universe. They kept this ethos of producing fabulously engineered products with a vast range of tobaccos to select from. Okay. I mean, that's about as top level as you get. In fact, one could argue, maybe I'm creating the argument, that in some fucking way, that is what Cuban leaf should be about, right? But the Cuban leaf is pretty much restricted to something which is really, we all consider great, yeah? But it's restricted to a couple of valleys in Cuba. Davidoff have decided they can go and pick tobaccos from all different places, right? But they will not sabotage in any way the construction and engineering. So if you know all these things, right? If you know all these things, I think Davidoff sits right at the top.
I agree.
Right at the top.
And we know that...
I'm not saying this, by the way, I'm not saying this to ingratiate anyone. I think that I just genuinely think that.
He genuinely believes that, and the check cleared. Anyway, just to let everybody know, on the April 23rd, Davidoff's coming out with a brand new cigar that we're all excited. Worldwide release. We're all excited to try that. So, yeah.
What's it called?
I would have to look it up. I think I sent this to you yesterday. Roy was nice enough to send it to me. Thank you, Roy. The check cleared, so we'll mention your.
I think it's something to do with a gem or an amber. Yeah, I saw a lot of these releases.
Here we go. It's the Puro Dominico. Is a global release.
Yeah, no, it's a Puros Dominico. So
April 23rd. It's 10 years of introduction. Davidoff Yasmin. I like the Yasmin. I smoke those all the time. Davidoff Cigar unveils its latest creation. Oh my God, they're like God. Let's see, the latest creation, the Davidoff
The
Puro.
latest creation. Are you Chinese?
The latest.
You said the latest.
Davidoff Puro Domenico. The new line comes in 3 exciting formats: one that you can light, one that you can't light, and one that you.
But yet they're all exciting.
But they're all exciting, I guess. The Perfecto. The Perfecto takes the Aficionado on a journey through the heart of the Dominican.
Well, that's the problem in the marketing. Who is an aficionado, and who would be so crass as to call themselves an aficionado?
Anybody apparently who buys a cigar. The blend composes of well-aged tobacco from 6 Dominican territories with a combined age of 32. Congratulations, they're legal. The Dominican amber, I guess gemstone, a rare jewel. It says it's a rare jewel. I'm reading it. Sourced from deep below, shaped into a warm, glowing masterpiece. And there you go. And the Puro Dominican is composed of higher grade tobacco from 6 different Dominican territories, blend sharp to perfection. Davidoff's master blender. I didn't say masturbator this time. Master blenders are the result of full body Domenico Puro, the intensity, the expect a black band cigar refinement that defines the Davidoff creation. That was great. That's awesome. I can't wait to get the video. Anyway, that's there.
I think they put the same amount of construction into those words as they have into the cigars, right?
And Cigar Rabbi is about to join us.
It kind of reads like a Ferrari manual.
It does. It kind of does. You get I'm getting excited that this is coming.
And that's that's just it. If you're even slightly invested into it, that's what, in my opinion, it's just an opinion. To put it in the bin. All those ladies who are learning to smoke, who've just entered this industry, in the last 5 years, right? Because this is a man's world at the end of the day, right? Yeah, and pretending to hold a cigar is not really smoking, and pretending to smoke cheap cigars is not really smoking.
That's true.
Okay.
So
my recommendation is, and I know everyone's listening, and I know they pay attention to exactly what I say and do exactly what I say, right? Just like every other woman in my life, who if I tell her to do something, she does it. No, she does the opposite thing. Okay. So the thing not to do, don't try the Davidoff cigars. They're far too good.
That's it. They're too good for you. And coming
They're
in,
far too good.
Don't too good for you, women. That's right. That's right. Smoke the crap because you women
smoke the crap. Leave the Davidoff alone for the real smokers.
All right, and here we go, being brought in by police escort. As you can hear.
I thought he was dead. I thought he committed suicide in a prison cell.
No, Cigar Rabbi's coming. Here he comes.
Cigar Rabbi. I thought it was.
Oh no! Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Cigar Rabbi. We're going to do a close-up.
There he is.
He's holding his big stick. I mean, he's holding his cigar for you people on the podcast. There he is. Look at that. It's a beautiful Davidoff. Which Davidoff?
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Very good. Right on cue. I like this man. What's his name? Joshua Cohen. I like this, man. The Cigar Rabbi
is here,
actually delivers.
There you go.
That's a cool cat and a half.
Now, Rabbi, what are we smoking there? You're on mute there, buddy. You're doing great. No, you're on mute.
He's completely on mute. His words are not needed. Davidoff brand is needed.
This is the brand new Puro Dominicano.
Is that the one? Is that the one?
Yep.
You have it already?
I got it from a rep. It's only for tasting. It's not for sale.
Take a shot. Take a shot. Send it to the London rep because they refused to give me one.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Take a shot and send it to me, Josh. And I'll put it on Instagram.
We're going to smoke it live, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion.
You cool cat.
The Cigar Rabbi.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Cigar Rabbi. Smoking it before the release.
No, nothing.
All right, so Cigar Rabbi is going to light up the world release cigar for April 23rd. So Davidoff, if this sucks, you can't really
suck on this.
And this, and the Cigar Rabbi knows his cigars because he's a rabbi. And there you have it. So there we have it.
Now he's going to be the moil.
He's the moil. He just did the moilish, and now he's going to light it. He's going to do the whole rabbi thing. There's a little prayer that's going on right now. He's saying the whole Baruch Atah.
That's a nice, elegant-looking Vitola, by the way. There's an elegance to that cigar. The ring gauge to length ratio is quite nice.
Yes, it's a Corona Larga. So it's a very unique size.
Now, Josh, I have a question. Can I get one tomorrow, or there's none to have? I have to wait till April 23rd.
I can see what I can do for you tomorrow. I might have one laying around.
If you do, let me know, because I would love to try it tomorrow while I'm having lunch, lounging around at the Caligula Festival.
No, honestly, in terms of just look, that is an
Beautiful
elegant
cigar.
look. That is so I have a figure in my head that I created, a number, and I hope it catches on. I mentioned it on the show a week or two ago. I have a number that relates to the ratio of the ring gauge to the length. That is a number in itself. I mean, it technically relates to the weight of the cigar. That should give you some idea of length to ring gauge ratio. So what is it like? What's it like
Tell
on
us.
the first draw?
Right away, I'm impressed. Right away, I'm impressed. I mean, I'm somebody I've always loved. I'm sure you remember Reza the Dominicana Davidoff, which was also a puro. It was
That's
pure
right.
Dominican. Everything
Yes, yes.
sourced from the Dominican Republic. I always feel that when you keep things pure, it's gonna bring out the best. That's why I like Opus X. I think that's Opus X's little niche, is that everything is coming from one vega, like they say, one plantation. In this case, Chateau de la Fuente, and obviously these I don't know exactly where in the Dominican Republic it was sourced. I'm
Wait, I
guessing
read
it's from
the whole
Yamasa.
description. I just read the whole description. It's 6 different valleys. It's a whole thing. Virgins climbed to the top of the mountain to pull the leaf. I just read the whole thing. I'm glad you paid attention when I did all that. I did
Put it
that
up
for you.
put it up in the footnotes on the YouTube video.
I will. Oh, you wait, the whole thing I just said?
No, not now. When you post.
Oh, you mean when we do the show
you do
later?
sort of like a little bit of an advertising campaign for this.
Oh yeah, because the check cleared. I got it. Yeah.
I have to say, the way that Joshua has lit that cigar, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not about lighting the cigar. The way that Joshua's produced that cigar has increased the excitement to try it. It's a good-looking stick.
And Josh is enjoying it. You can tell.
It is really good.
Full
After
body?
some breakfast, I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna be honest. The darker leaf kind of was intimidating, but on the contrary, it's very smooth, very elegant. I can't really taste too many particulate notes, but it is smoking nice, and the flavor is there.
Okay. And would you say it's a medium or full body for the fans that are listening and watching around the world?
I'd go minimum medium, definitely nothing lower than a medium. But studying the Habanos brand, I never realized there was a lot of medium Cuban cigars that, to me, full body Cuban cigars that, to me, I felt that they were medium.
That's
like
right.
Bolivar, Ramon Ayones, they're known as a full body. But when you smoke some of these other New World cigars, like they say, are non-Cubans, that to me, that they're medium at best,
Right.
But this is definitely, I'm going to say medium to full body, just to throw it out there.
Now, let me ask you this question, because this is a world exclusive, and we've got this cigar before anybody else, so suck it. Anyway, not that I'm a vengeful person. My question is, Josh, what's the price point? I know, right? I'm a child. What's the price point?
That one I can't disclose that at this moment. I can tell you the ones that I have a clear label on it that says tasting cigar, not for sale.
Okay. Just checking.
That I promise you. I wouldn't make that up.
No, I got that. So I guess my question is, do we think it's going to be over 50 or under 50?
Listen, just cut to the chase, Joshua. All he wants to know is, can he have a stick? That's it.
Yeah,
That's
well,
all
I
he
already
wants to
got-
know.
listen,
All of
viewers-
this is sideways discussion, the price point, the flavor. Just send me the fucking stick. I'll try.
I send him. I'm going to see him tomorrow. I'm going to be Rabbi.
There you
Where's
go.
the
Now we've got. You see, this is just the way. You don't need the Gentile in here, right? Yeah, you guys can get this.
It's good that you negotiated for me. I appreciate that. I have to make you feel loved, and that's how we do it. I'm liking that, Josh. So, Josh, you heard some of the show because I saw you're watching on the Instagram. So, we're talking about premium cigars and collecting and whatnot. So, the cigar you're smoking, the new Davidoff that's coming out, the gem, the amber, the one that has 32-year-old virgin tobacco. Would you put that in your collection?
Actually, sorry, Joshua, before you answer that is actually a very good question. In fact, can I add one sentence to that?
Yes, sir.
Joshua, do you consider the cigar you're holding to be a premium cigar? Think about that very carefully.
Well, yes, I do. Although, for the record, as a collector, I separate my cigars. I wouldn't store this with my Cubans, to be fair with you. But it doesn't mean that I don't have a nice a Prometheus humidor, for this type of cigar. Just like I have one
nuggets of information there already.
Yeah, for my Opus, for my full body Cubans, for my medium Cubans. I'm a collector that I believe in good quality humidors. That's what they're made for. I know a lot of people like to keep their cigars in the natural box, and I respect that. Everybody to each their own, whatever, makes you happy, like they say. But to me, I think the cigars are happiest in a nice Ellie Blue humidor more than a box made in Cuba. No disrespect.
I like that. They're only going to be your cigars are only going to be happy if they're in an Ellie Blue humidor. Just so we're clear, if they're in any type of other humidor, they're not. They're going to be very unhappy, and they're going to smell like shit.
Joshua, do me a favor. Turn your screen that way so you're like portrait. So your landscape.
Yes, sir. Hold up. Let me move.
That's a scary close-up right there, guys. Right there. Look at that.
I'm surprised Stephen didn't already say it.
Oh no, I see him like 2 or 3 times a week in person, so I know what he looks like. So I'm good either way.
There we go.
Hey, let's get a close-up of the Rabbi, everybody. There you have it. For all you people that live in the middle of nowhere that don't know what a real Jew looks like, because I'm just a fake one. There you go. That's what a real Jew looks like. There you have it. So.
Stephen, you crack me up.
Dude, I have no filter. It's like, you hear me when we're together.
No,
so
I'm your filter, Stephen.
Yes, you are.
You recycle your thoughts through me. I say them out loud and you think, fucking hell, did he really say that?
And the funny part about it is that when, like, I'm the bad friend for everybody. So when Riz and I finally get together and hang out, I will be the bad friend. I'll be the one that he's going to be like, bloody hell, I can't believe this guy. So, I'm the bad friend. I realize that because I'm just like, yeah, we should try it. Let's do it. So,
Joshua, would you recommend that cigar to these new lady cigar aficionados who are
transvestites?
Would you recommend that to them? Yeah. Say, try this.
Reza, I'm a perfectionist. I would age the cigar a little bit more time. I can taste the potential.
Right.
But I don't think everybody's going to taste the potential the way that I'm tasting the potential in the cigar. But it's still in there. It still has a lot of good notes, a lot of, creaminess to it.
What you're doing, you're walking into an empty, abandoned apartment and seeing the potential there. Right, whereas most people would just see an empty, abandoned apartment. There we go.
Now wait, because he's Jewish. That's what we do. That's how things work. We own everything anyway. So now, how long would you age this for? In the God forbid it's not an Ellie Blue humidor.
I'd age it 3 days and then smoke it.
Yeah, you would age it 20 seconds. They give it to you and you go, that's aged enough. So how long would you age it for, Rabbi?
Well, for starters, I'd take it out the cellophane and I should have gave it a couple days longer, but over hearing you guys talk about it, I said, why not? Honestly, I was just going to throw it in my humidor and forget about it. But I didn't realize I was sitting on something so exclusive. So
it is. My friend, nobody.
Smoke it with you guys. We can talk about it. And yeah, definitely, I'm with Reza. Davidoff is a very elegant brand. I know people outside of America who smoke it, and they, are very proud to smoke it. I'm not a big cigarette guy, but I've heard the Davidoff cigarettes that are sold in Europe are some of the best.
I used to smoke them, I used to smoke them quite a lot.
Like I said, I'm not a cigarette guy, but I've heard good things. If I was going to smoke a cigarette, it'd probably be a Davidoff cigarette in Europe somewhere. But like I said,
you're getting no end of shorts here, by the way, Stephen. You're getting no end of shorts. Ram these up. Because
when you say ram them,
just saying all the right things, and he's saying very, very nuanced things. They're very nuanced. If anyone wants to learn about cigar smoking, and I recommend that the aficionados watch this kind of stuff, right?
Because
they're coming up. This is where you get the nuggets of information.
Yeah, the girls should be watching this because they don't know anything. Anyway, and I say that tongue in cheek, but they really don't. So how long would you age this for? That was my question from 20 minutes ago before I forget.
Well, properly, I don't mind waiting years, but I'd give it at least 6 months until people are really realizing how good it is. I can see how there's a lot of stuff that when it hits the market, I know recently, the chef.
Yeah, that was the worst cigar.
Davidoff.
The
When it
worst.
was fresh, nobody cared about it.
Yep.
You buy one right now, you're gonna say, "Holy crap, this
Yeah.
is a hell of a cigar." And it's like a lot of things that just it needs a little bit of time. Even
Yeah.
I love Cohiba, I love Behike. Even
Right.
those need time, and they're great. It doesn't get better than that, but
Right.
guess what? They still need some time. So
Yeah. And
every
just
cigar needs some aging, and this I can see how out the gate
yeah.
it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but give it a 6 months, 4 or 5 months, and
I
I can
will.
see people really appreciating it.
What's it
Dr.
like
Q,
on the retrohale, Joshua?
wait,
What's it
wait,
like on the
really
retrohale?
quick. Dr. Curo says I can't wait a year. Just so we're clear. So okay, this Joshua said you only need 6 months. So there you go, Doc. You don't have to wait a full year. So what's on the
So,
retrohale, Josh?
yeah. What are you
Uh,
getting?
Man, still a lot of creaminess. I do get hints of like a nice coffee.
Okay.
I would say espresso, not too sweet, but it's definitely there. There are a lot of leather notes as well. It's funny. I saw somebody smoking it, and he was telling me, "Man, all I can taste is shoe leather," and that's why I decided to kind of give it some time. But now I know what he was saying. I taste the shoe leather, which
All right.
I don't know how good of a thing that is, but it's not. It's not the end of the world. But
Okay.
it is a hell of a cigar. It is a hell of a cigar.
And the nice thing is we are the first channel, the first globally to have it and smoke it.
Well, courtesy of Joshua in this case, not courtesy of Davidoff. If Davidoff
Well,
had done their
Davidoff,
thing, we'll all be smoking it right now.
they don't do squat for us. They don't send checks. They don't send letters. They send nothing. However, Roy is always very nice when I send them a message. So they got that going for them. But
He's
yeah,
a cool
no,
cat. He was so
that's fine.
nice. He told me he smoked this 4 or 5 times already. That's the most I got out
They
of it.
shove it in your face and not actually let you have one. Yeah, like I smoked one. You can't have it. Yes. So, but see, the Davidoff reps here in the United States, they realize nobody cares. So they're like, here, take it because we got to sell the cigars. And that's the way it works. So, but that's good. I'm glad we've
I
had
think
it.
there's
And
some
then,
signal issues. There's some missiles flying over you or something like that.
oh, stop. There's no missiles flying over us here yet. The drones
Oh,
come
there's
next week.
jiggy Wi-Fi issues there.
There you go. There's your Jiggy 5. There you go. There you go. You feel better now?
There you go.
There you go. There's the
Your
missiles.
missiles.
There's I got a missile for you right here. So, but that's good. So Josh is going to tell us as he smokes. So we're talking about. So this would go. So Josh, this would go into your premium cigar collection, and we know, and an
Hang
LA Blue
on.
Humidor.
Dr. Crudo just said the thing I was thinking in my head. You rub tequila on it like Arnold. Yes, actually, if you're not quite sure, just dip it in tequila a little bit, just a little bit, yeah. If you're not quite sure, if you're not really enjoying it, just bring the enjoyment level up. But that's. Thank you for saying that, Dr. Crudo. Very good.
That's funny. Dr. Crudo. I'm trying to think. Dr. Crudo sounds like he should be on, Despicable Me, that cartoon thing. He sounds
That's
like he's a
Gru.
character.
That's Gru.
Gru.
That's
No,
Gru.
I know that, but Dr. Crudo sounds like he should be one of his evil villain guys that he's
Like
fighting.
counterpart, yeah.
Like a counterpart. Yeah, I'm just trying to help out there.
The Rocky Patel to the Davidoff.
Yeah, let's go with that. Anyway, even Josh doesn't smoke Rocky Patel cigars. He knows better. We've discussed this, where he and I. Nobody smokes those. That's like, even Rocky doesn't smoke Rocky Patel cigars. He smokes Davidoff like everybody else.
Joshua, as an accomplished smoker, as someone who's in this industry and is a professional and aiming to constantly improve his education, we were talking about the do's and don'ts of starting a premium cigar collection. Do you have any pointers and tips?
Well, definitely. I always tell people. I know that during 2020, then COVID, a lot of people use the excuse I couldn't fly, and there was no traveling. I got it. A lot of people may have ordered some cigars online, but my number one suggestion is always: there's nothing like receiving your cigars yourself. You buying them in some other country, you treating them like a baby in your carry-on as you bring them back. All of this, it shows in your cigar. My cigars have energy. It's like food. If I cooked your food in a bad mood, the food is not going to taste good. If I cooked your food gracefully, my brother, the food is already off to a beautiful start. So same thing with collecting cigars. If you collect them gracefully, if you take your time, you build them. You don't just sit on your laptop and order, whatever 500 cigars, whatever these losers are doing. You go out there, you travel the world, and you really experience culture. And you taste a cigar before you buy a box, and
Yep.
you talk with the guy. You make sure he's certified.
Old school, hands on.
You do have to do your research. I always tell people when I travel, I look at every single review. I don't want to sound like that guy, but I look at, and I don't care about bad hospitality. I don't care about, they closed a little early. I can let that slide. If I see one time it says they sold me a fake cigar, I'm not going in there. I will not step a foot in there. All I need is one
Provenance,
review that
yeah.
says they sold a fake cigar, and you lost my business right away. But I overheard you saying something, Reza, that was very true. The most confused market is the American market when it comes to these Cuban cigars. A lot of people think they are specialists, or they know their stuff, and they've never even left America. And I don't know how you can be a specialist in a
In the
product
land,
and you've never even left the U.S. So
in the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king. And that's what happens is when there's a great deal of in this particular instance, when there isn't that access, then people who have a little knowledge are the ones who rule. But when you have true experts on, right, okay, which is not me, yeah, right, true experts or budding experts or people who are the right, I mean, from what you're saying, actually, your ethos of buying a cigar or smoking a cigar, I'm really enjoying it, because I think you combine the feeling of smoking a cigar with also the scientific approach to picking cigars, actively picking them, finding provenance. And this relates entirely to the collectors that I've been speaking to. They only are interested in provenance, 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 provenance. After that, then they decide whether they like the cigar or not in the first place. Okay, they want to know all the way down, where does this box come from, where, everything matches up. And that is a science, and it's a science that the fakesters are trying to dodge all the time. Some well, some really badly. So it's very, very cool, interesting, and very, very positive, Joshua, that you have a reign on that. I mean, that's really cool that we got people like you on this program talking about things like this. The one very important thing I wanted to ask you, and it's really been bugging me lately, I've been watching some of Kirby Allison's videos as well recently, yeah? Is it necessary to wear an expensive suit to be a collector?
To me, the ultimate luxury is comfort. So, however you're comfort, if you're comfortable in some sandals on the beach with no shirt, more power to you. I don't
This
see
is going to be this. You see this guy? Yeah? He's going to be the new Cuban ambassador. The diplomacy skills are fabulous. They're absolutely fabulous.
And by the way, just so we're
The
clear,
new regime
is falling apparently. So I will become cigar czar here in
one
about a
way
month.
or the other. In one capacity.
No. What's his name? Raul called last night. He says, I'm going to let Trump take over Cuba now. So I'm excited. So Cuban cigars, here they come, America. And once you smoke one, then the mystique will be gone, and they'll be just like the non-Cuban cigars, and everything will blend, and we can stop having this argument, which is better, Cuban cigars and Davidoff, of course. And then the rest of it is all Drek. And there you go. That's it from a professional. Now, we do have a fan that says, I'm an aficionado if I smoke without a yellow cap. I think he's asking, he doesn't have a yellow cap on. Is he an aficionado? I'm not sure what the yellow cap is, so I can't answer that.
What is the yellow cap? I was thinking about
I don't know. I'm just reading. He says, I'm going to start my day drinking now, which is good, and take out a Davidoff too. I'm assuming that he's taking out a cigar, not his special Davidoff. And then he says, I'm an aficionado. Congratulations.
I recall the show we did with Jasim. This was about 5 months ago, right? Yeah. Right. And I felt a little bit slightly humbled, right? Because he was talking about the fact that, to dress up and everything. It's really for Instagram. It's really for, it's for social media. It catches people's attention. And it's sort of like it's like an haute couture show, right? Yeah. These designers do haute couture. they design clothes that no one's ever going to wear, yeah, but it gives some sort of feeling or ethos of what their direction they're going in. And I think all the visual stuff is subjective. Style is subjective. Whether you have to wear an expensive suit or not is subjective. Yeah, right. As Joshua says, be comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, be comfortable the way you are. If that's what you are, be that, right? If you want to smoke shitty New World cigars, right? Smoke shitty New World cigars. If you enjoy them, enjoy them. Good. Less for us.
And I guess, and then to your thing about Kirby.
No, I didn't say New World cigars are shitty. I said shitty
Kirby.
New World
You
cigars.
said Kirby was
They
shitty.
are,
Isn't that what you
know,
just
I-
said? Kirby is shitty. You said Kirby
I
was
did not
shitty.
say that.
You said, I heard that. You said
I
Kirby
merely
was sitting in a
discussing-
shitty
I was merely
suit, smoking a
discussing whether
shitty
it is
cigar.
necessary
and that was it.
to dress like an English public school boy when you're from Texas, yeah, in order to smoke a cigar.
Well, he's a dandy, so he gets to dress like that and do his dandy stuff. Now,
Very
we have a
precious.
serious question from a fan, and Riz and I can probably answer this more than Joshua, because any thoughts on EGM, a very nice cigar? Yes, only the Lancero
Over
is
to
a
you,
nice
Joshua.
cigar.
Joshua, over to you. EGM cigars. What does EGM stand for?
You know, I originally thought that the M in EGM was for the last name Musa, which is Arabic for Moses. I don't know if we're on the
Okay.
same page of what
It is the
EGM.
last name, but it's not Musa. It's Ettore Gabriel Moraschinelli. This is the owner and founder of EGM, young Italian guy, very
A
very
nice
guy.
Jewish guy.
Top in terms of marketing. What are the cigars like? Joshua, you smoked any?
Honestly, I haven't. Like I said, I know somebody with those initials, but it's the last name is Musa.
So it's not the same guy. It's not the
It's
same guy.
not the same guy.
So,
No.
The
so
Lancero.
as
The
an answer on the
Lancero.
EGM, as an
The
answer,
Lancero
yes.
is the only cigar that they make that's worth to buy or to smoke. The other stuff is nice, but poo. The Lancero, that's a
No,
professional.
the Lancero
criticism,
is a good
the
cigar.
best. That's a good cigar. I would buy a wheel of those and be very comfortable.
Escurio? It's called the Escurio? I
Well,
think it's called the Escurio.
For the record, I can say one thing that I do find interesting about that brand. Now that I think about it, in Cuba, there's no other cigar that's sold that's a non-Cuban other than this brand. I personally haven't been to the lounge where they sell it, but from what I've heard, I think this is
El
what you guys are
Bleco.
talking
El
about.
Bleco.
Okay. Oh, and El Bleco. Okay, nice. I've been there, but I don't know. It just wasn't really my type of party,
Well,
to be honest.
it's because when they founded the brand, the story goes, or the myth goes, or the legend goes, is that's where they were based, or that's where they were sitting. So they called it El Bleco. In fact, they have one vitola, which is called the El Bleco.
Nice.
Yes,
Okay.
they do.
Nice.
But the cigar worth smoking from their range,
Lancero.
you can you can smoke through them as you wish, yeah. But the one to smoke is the Lancero.
Yeah, they're all good, but the Lancero is like a cut above. So it's very, very nice. Yeah. So Norris is saying some people say Cuban cigars are overrated. They can't tell the difference between a Cuban cigar and a New World or a non-Cuban. No wonder if it's a fake Cuban cigar.
But that's what
from
the
New
ladies
World
say.
style.
That is what the ladies say. Is that he's talking about ladies or no? Is he talking about the aficionados?
No, he just said some people. He didn't say ladies. He said some people.
I know, because I know Urs. You know, when
he's
Urs,
being politically correct.
So Urs being Swiss, Urs being Swiss.
It's like they were good during the war. They were very
in this
neutral.
in this particular occasion, he's clear by his absence of technicality, because Urs speaks in a very technical way. When he's being vague because he's being naughty and jibing. So this some people, in fact, you should have put some people in inverted commas. Some people,
you ladies,
some people,
ladies
say Cuban cigars are overrated. By people who know better. They're overrated by people who know better than you know. Okay, so that's the answer. They can't tell the difference between a Cuban cigar and a New World cigar. Yeah. No wonder if it's a fake Cuban cigar made from New World tobacco.
Right. I agree 100%. The nice thing is,
Urs is going to be in town. And by the way, Joshua, I'm throwing out an invitation to you. Stephen's already part of this invitation. Joshua, get yourself in London. You're going to enjoy it here.
I'll take you up on that offer, brother. I'll take you up.
Get over. There's salt beef sandwiches here as well. Not just in your part of the world, dude.
I know.
There's only 4 Jews in London, so if you and I go, Josh, we're going to increase it by 2.
And they
So it's
own
going to be
London.
very exciting.
There's only 4, and they
And
own
all of
London.
London, they all know each other. All we have to do is call them open arms, just so we know. There you go. So, well, and to his point, it's true. But, and I agree, there's a lot of fake Cubans here here. But I will also say, once I think Americans that smoke non-Cubans start smoking Cubans, you're going to find people that are going to be like, they're great. And you're going to find people that they're not so great. I still say what I've said on the show. And I've said this to Josh when we smoked. There's still a mystique about the Cuban cigars, the Cuban brand, everything. And you said a couple of weeks ago, Rizzo, which was interesting, in 20 to 30 years with reverse engineering and all this other things, then the non-Cuban cigars will be at some point probably equal to or possibly surpass a Cuban.
Well, I said that hypothetically. I don't know the actual answer to that. But the thing is this, if technology is and horticultural technology is progressing at the same rate as all the other technology. I think the example I was using was, these impossible meats. It's lab grown meat, or that is now. 10 years ago, it was nothing special. Now it's almost comparable to beef. And guess what it's going to be like in 10 years' time. The flavors and construction and leaves the agricultural process, in my opinion, in 10, 15, 20 years' time will be second to none, right? The one thing that the Cuban cigars very specifically have always had going for them, and someone mentioned this yesterday to me. I was talking about this. They said, well, it's a handmade product. And I said, well, the band isn't handmade. Right. There are elements of that. The box may be handmade, right? Yeah.
Right.
But there's a deal of mechanization. There's some level of mechanization. It's not a bad thing to have a level of mechanization, but the actual product, the puros, the cigar, is totally handmade. And I wonder how long it will take for other not jurisdictions, other territories, other terroirs to achieve that same level of complexity. In fact, it brings me on to the question I was about to ask Joshua. Joshua is about a third of the way down that cigar. Has that cigar developed in a non-linear way at all? Is there anything additional?
It has gotten a little more smooth. Now it's a true medium. I can tell you that. And I think as it goes, you get to actually taste where it's gonna eventually get to. That's what I feel like I'm tasting. It's still delivering in every sense. I mean, I probably would have enjoyed this more after lunch. Come to think about it, but at the same time, it's a hell of a cigar. And I'm gonna touch on two things both of you said. First, you, Stephen. Um, I do think that when Cuban cigars come to the U.S., what we're gonna find is a lot of people who like those strong, full body cigars.
Mhm.
They're still gonna like that. They're not gonna. Cuban is not never gonna fill that void that they're looking for. And I think that's not gonna change. A guy who likes a really peppery cigar, he's never gonna find that in a Cuban cigar. At least not a well-made, cured Cuban. And to touch on what Reza was saying about the potential of other countries one day achieving possibly better, I think it's possible, especially now with the way the world is looking. If Cuba was to go into trade with other countries, and let's say Davidoff in the Dominican Republic, imagine they can make you a Cuban Dominicano mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Something
wow.
like that. You're right. That might just be a whole
That
new
might take.
level.
So someone described, and I will say this is my friend Zhao. I will give him a shout out on this occasion, right? He said something very pragmatic to me, and this was a few days ago. He said the basic difference between Cuban and everything else is that, generally speaking, in a Cuban cigar, you go on a journey. You go on a journey of third. Sometimes, if you're very lucky, you get 4 flavor changes. You get changes, and we're not talking about the strength of the cigar. We're talking about the flavor, and there are very, very, very few people in the world that can actually taste a cigar. I'm not talking about experiencing a cigar. I'm talking about tasting. There are some experts, very few experts that I've met, that say that their clients, there are some clients that can actually taste stuff that's going on in a cigar that most people will miss, whether it's on a retrohale, whether it's the mouth, whether it's the lips. Someone will say that I've been buying this cigar for the past this Vitola for 40 years because it reminds me of an ice creamy kind of flavor. You know,
Right.
there are people like that out there, okay? Yeah. So the reason I'm mentioning this is that the difference that Jao was talking about to me about going on a journey with a Cuban cigar, you go on a journey. You have variably thirds, but sometimes almost 4 different distinct changes in flavor as you're smoking down the leaf. Once again, let me emphasize, I'm talking about increasing in strength, and I'm talking about actual journey of flavor.
Right.
And not everyone can feel that, but that's apparently the distinction between Cuban, well, one person's distinction between Cuban and everything else.
Yeah.
So this very interesting thing Joshua just mentioned, imagine you have one day a hybrid. Yeah,
That'd be cool.
you have a Ferrari with a petrol engine, but also it's got 200 brake horsepower more because it's got electric powering it. Yeah, like a LaFerrari.
Wait, I
Yeah,
was just gonna say, you're talking about a
F80,
LaFerrari. Yeah, it's
or
like a
an
LaFerrari.
F80. Fucking hell, yeah. The amount of horsepower that delivers when you need it. So
Right.
imagine you're smoking something that's perfectly constructed, Joshua, perfectly constructed, and then it has this titillating pickup of notes and put down and pick up and put down. There's some Cuban leaf going through it, one way or the other.
That's a
You know,
beauty.
Yes.
Reza, you said something. I don't know if you're certified or not. I feel like a lot of us
Oh, he's
are
certified, pal.
certified
He's certified.
sommelier.
I'm sorry. Yes,
He's
I am.
certified,
Sir. I
Joshua.
am
Oh, he's
certified.
certified. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, I'll be honest with you. I learned something about Cuban cigars recently that from a professor in the Habanos course that I was taking. Um, he said that it's we don't have thirds; they're momentos, they're moments. You have,
That's
just like
right.
you
yeah.
said,
It's like a
it's
symphony.
more than
It
a third.
rises and
He
falls.
actually didn't like the word third being used
Yeah,
at all because he says it doesn't do the Cuban cigar
doesn't.
justice.
It's
There's
not
too
right.
many moments that they deserve their own, platform or
No,
their own stage.
Joshua, the third is room 101 on cigars. That's an easy way to explain to someone who's getting in. But actually, when you get to a more sophisticated level, it is the symphony. It's the rise, the crescendos, and the dips. And not everyone can taste them, and not everyone's aware of them. And most people are having a whiskey and chatting with someone else, and they don't notice it. They'll only notice the obvious stuff. But when you go to the delicate, nuanced stuff, this is when we start getting serious about this journey. And this journey is very thought provoking. In fact, I was telling Stephen last night, after a long, long time, I did a very, very long walk in cold London air. And I actually was enjoying the symphony of the Galanes that I was smoking. I'm a very big fan of Galanes. In the last 2 or 3 years, hasn't been great, but I was smoking a 2021 Galanes, and it was giving me that rise and breathing like an animal,
Yeah.
like
It's alive.
it's alive. It's talking to you. You're feeling it. You're feeling down, so it picks you up.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then it's like
yeah.
that's your journey. That's your journey. Now, are you
That's
going to get that from a Rocky Patel? I don't think so, sir.
Reza, that's why I said going back to building a collection, that's what makes it so special. It's kind of like when you plant a seed and you watch it grow to its full potential where it's giving you back fruits. You appreciate it much more. Same thing about Cubans. When you travel to Hong Kong, you go to London, you go to Zurich, to Manuel's, you go to their vintage selection, you get the best of the best. You
Yeah.
bring it back and the best, handling that you can do. No UPS, no DHL. They're all great companies, good for them. They're not going to treat your stuff the way you treat your stuff.
right.
I'll tell you that 100%. I don't care if you pay the extra $1,000 charge. They're not going to treat it the way it deserves to be treated. And with that being said, that is the whole process. To me, cigars are it's a living thing at the end of the day. You got to treat it right, like water, like food. You have to treat it right. If not, you don't want to put it in your body. It's not going to be worth it, in my opinion.
And by the way, Urs has typed. He agrees. Yeah, it's to do with linearity. It's to do with the fact that the Cuban cigar does take you a journey. And let me. I say this because we're talking about crescendos and dips. We're talking about symphonic movement of taste in a Cuban cigar. I highly recommend, and this does work. I'm not talking about lounge. I'm talking about when you're sitting on your own or walking on your own. Listen to jazz or listen to classical music. It really enhances. It enhances that cigar smoking experience. It really does. Not
Actually,
heavy metal.
The blues actually does too. The good blues, like
The blues, yes, or noir, or late
Yeah.
night noir, that kind
Like
of thing. That's sort
Sister-
of like,
Sister
I'm
Thorpe.
walking around, the streets
Yeah.
are steaming, I'm on my own, my dog is gone, my woman's left me, the whole kind of
no,
that.
not
that
country,
kind of-
not country and western. The blues.
Well, the blues were, that's what it was about. It was a very melancholy.
No, some
very
of the blues are
melancholy.
not. Some of them are like the blues, baby. The real
Well,
blues,
it's
not
called the
this
blues
crap.
because it's melancholy, no, Stephen?
No, there's some blues that are just beauty, man. It's just it's the riff. It's the thing. It's just that thing.
Are you talking about blue movies?
No, I'm not talking about Blue Movie or the Blue Man Group, just the blues. I'll send you a blue thing I'm talking about.
Right.
Blue Clues. There's a big dog and everything involved. You'll love it.
I have to say that today, very much, and it's not just by popping out the Davidoff, right?
Yeah.
Joshua's smoking the Davidoff is really, really enticing me to smoke a Davidoff this evening. I don't know why. I'm kind of looking forward to this one. It's that. Well, this is just it. This is the pleasure of smoking together. This is what you do. You kind of egg each other into trying different experiences. But that looks like. Honestly, I'm not smoking that cigar, but that looks like a worthwhile smoke to me, especially because we can't get hold of it. That's why.
Well, we can't. Apparently, you can't.
Apparently, you can.
I can. And tomorrow, I'm getting a hold of it. So, hey, Josh, here's my question.
No. Now, hang on. Now, what you've done? Now you've obliged Joshua. You've done that thing that Jews
I'm a Jew. It's what we do. I'm not going to
Jews
ask.
do
I'm
each other. Now
obliging.
you've
I'm going to make
obliged
him
him.
feel
Now Joshua's
guilty.
thinking, really? Now, where can
There's
I get
Jewish
this
guilt.
cigar now?
There's
Now
Jewish
I'm gonna have
guilt
to
at
find a way,
play.
for God's sake. Oy vey.
There's going to be Jewish guilt here, and if he doesn't have it, I'm going to be, oh my God, I can't believe I came all the way over here. It's going to be a thing.
I came all the way here, and my people came to your people.
We crossed the desert, and what did I? Nada. I didn't nothing. Zip, and that's what it'll be. So if he has one, great. If not, I'll wait till it comes out. But the nice thing is, Josh. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and we know your Cubans are 12.
Give us a rating. Yes, give us a pre-rating.
What is the Joshua, aka Rabbi rating of this new Cuban? There's no pressure. All of Davidoff next week is going to be watching this. So you're clear.
Rabbi rating.
For the record, I'm a tough judge.
You're so screwed.
Let me start off by saying that. Given that, like I said, it's fresh. Honestly, I'd give it a 6.5 because it's fresh. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it has the potential to even reach a 9 if you sit on it for a year, 2 years. And I get it. Not everybody likes to do it.
Right.
That's them. But I can tell you this: even if you bought the most expensive wine right now at Chateau Margaux, and it was stamped 2026, you'd be an idiot to drink it in 2026. And I don't care if you spend you might be saying, I spent 1,000 euros and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter what you spend. It still needs to be aged for at least 5-10 years. And this is Chateau Margaux. You think that you spend that much money, it's already right out of the factory, but it's not. It still needs time. That being said, it's not a bad cigar. I do like it. But I'm a realist. I know that it can be way better, and I guarantee you it will be way better if you sit on it. But keep in mind, this is this is very fresh. I can still take it's still even a little soft. I like my cigars a little bit more firm. I like to keep my cigars at a 65% humidity. This feels like it's easily like at a 71, maybe 70. Which to me is a little too high. I wouldn't have kept it like that, like I said. But it's still a good cigar, but 6.5 for Davidoff. I do believe they do have some perfect cigars, but this right out the gate, I wouldn't call it a perfect one.
Stephen, can you flash that up on screen? The Rabbi rating, 6.5 out of 10.
I can. Hold on. I'll put a banner. Hold on. It says, Jay, if
I like this Rabbi rating.
The Rabbi rating. Here's where we're going to go with. Let me create a banner.
That's trademark now.
I know. Rabbi Rating. Hold on. Rabbi Rating.
Joshua, Urs is saying, if you come to Manuel's, give me a call next time. Where's Manuel's?
In Zurich, beautiful, my favorite spot.
Zurich.
Yeah, my favorite.
Have you got
spot.
Urs's details?
I'll get Urs's. I'll get him the details if it's okay with the big guy.
Yes, sir.
Hold on.
Accurate rating for most Davidoff. Oh, very good. It's very, very glib remark.
There you go. Rabbi Rating, 6 out of 10. There you go. Not every rabbi gives a rating, so there you go. You got a Rabbi rating.
6 out of 10 on the Davidoff. On the Davidoff. That way the short will come up.
Yeah, on the Puro Dominicano. But to be honest with you, I'm somebody, I like the Grand Cru. I'm a Grand Cru number 2.
That's a great smoke.
This would be to me like a 9.5. Even amongst Cubans, hell, I travel to Cuba with my Davidoffs. I love to give them to people, and I can tell that they're enjoying them. It is a good cigar. Davidoff, their quality is impeccable, and it speaks to why they put Geneva on every cigar. Even though it's probably never goes to Geneva, they still want to remind you that, you know, the ethics, the morals, the whole foundation is built off of the Swiss quality. And that's Davidoff to me. And
the precision engineering.
Engineers. So, yeah, it's like a German car. You know, you just kind of, you know what it's going to deliver. You know it's gonna live up to its, you know, background. Right. And this is
smoke it blindly.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those cigars. But like I said, right out of the bat, I still would have said a 6.5, but 6 out of 10 is probably more reasonable.
So we have the new Rabbi Rating for next time Josh is on smoking a cigar. So the Davidoff gets a 6 out of 10. This is going to be very big in Iran, by the way. I'm looking forward to that with the Rabbi Rating. This is going to go over great. So I can't wait. So just don't forget to subscribe and like. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? We're infidels, so I'm helping them out. There you go. So, but that is awesome. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Rabbi Rating on the new Davidoff that you can't get a hold of, but apparently we can. And Rizza can't get a hold of, even though he's chummy with the Roy.
No, that's why I can't get hold of it. It's that chumminess, and it works in reverse here. Yeah, with you guys, it works one way here, the reverse. The more chummy you are, the less sort of like it's called first dibs. You know, when you're chums, you pull the other one's leg by saying, "I've got it, you can't have it."
Yes, and by the way, the gentleman wants to know what the Yasmin rating was. I give Yamasa. I give it like a 6.5, 7. I thought it was a great smoke. After, to Josh's point, sat in my humidor for 6 months. What do you think, Josh? What's the Rabbi Rating on that one?
On Yamasa?
Yeah.
That's not one of my go-tos. I'm not going to say I'm a big fan of that particular smoke, but it also depends on my mood, what I've eaten. You know, like after dinner, and I've been eating, let's say I was eating good 3 solid meals, then you know what? Yeah, Yamasa, I can handle it. Yeah. But on my day-to-day, today I ate a tuna sandwich for breakfast and some kosher Doritos. That's not enough to handle like Yamasa.
Just so you know, next show we're going to talk about kosher Doritos. But on the you're to my point. I'll have that at lunch after I have lunch with our mutual friend. I have lunch and if he doesn't give me a Cuban, I have that because I like that. It's a good smoke. But now because of this smoke that he's smoking, I'm in the mood for a Davidoff. So after the show, I'll take the dog for a walk, pull out a Robusto. I had to clarify what I was pulling out. And
we've single-handedly been pushing up the Davidoff. You know,
we have been.
I know we've been doing it, and it works.
I'm a little annoyed with them that they haven't been advertising on the show yet. Well, we'll work on it anyway. So, but no, Davidoff makes a great cigar. And after your last week's transcendental crap that you did, Davidoff, transcendental crap. Here we go. It was great. It was the best thing I've ever seen. I'm sorry, in my life. It was great. We love Davidoff. We want to thank them. We want to thank the Cigar Rabbi and all the fan that watched the show today. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Any final words before we go, gentlemen? And because the fans are going to be heartbroken, we want to leave them wanting more, not less.
Live long and prosper.
Oh my
That's what
God.
Urs does that every bloody time.
Does he really?
He does. Have you not
No,
noticed? He does that.
Well, he's a special guy.
Apparently, you know when Leonard Nimoy did that, right?
Yeah,
On
yeah.
Star Trek. You know where he got it from? He said
Yeah.
he was in synagogue once, and
Yeah.
and there was a point where you have your eyes closed, and he was looking down. He looked up and he saw that in the synagogue. So that's where it comes
Really?
from.
Very
That's
cool.
Well, the rabbi here will confirm that.
That is actually, if you're ever in a Jewish cemetery and you see somebody with my last name, they may have that same hand signal on their grave or their tomb.
And we want to thank the fan that said we did a great chat today. Thank you very much. We'll be back next week, whether you like it or not. Just Cigar Rabbi, probably not. He can't get up early every week because he does have to keep that little Shabbat thing we have going on in our religion. I'm the fake Jew. Later, I'm going to have a hamburger with cheese and bacon. So don't worry about that. Other than that, everybody, have a wonderful Saturday. I can say that. They don't know I'm in Monaco.
And you did. And you did.
Who knew?
You thought it was in there, but it came out from there.
It came out like this. This is the problem. So anyway, everybody have a wonderful Saturday. Cigar Rabbi, thank you so much. Always good to see you. Rizza, always a pleasure. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Everybody stay safe. Enjoy your cigars. We'll see you all next week. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.